Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Lesson 13. This is the second part of completing activity book page 13.1, and we're going to be reading from your reader, chapter 14, called Jane Goodall. So go ahead and get your reader. Make sure you have your activity book and a pencil. You're going to follow along and read along with me. And as we're reading, we want to try to pick out four main ideas about Jane Goodall, four important things to remember about Jane Goodall. Here we go. Chapter 14, Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall is a very famous primatologist. She is a scientist who studies a group of mammals called primates. Primates are a group of mammals that includes humans, monkeys, gorillas, and chimpanzees. Jane Goodall has spent her whole life studying chimpanzees. She has focused on studying animal behavior in chimpanzees. Her discoveries have made her one of the best-known scientists in the world. Goodall was born in 1934 in London, England. Remember where Wind in the Willows took place? When she was a little girl, her father gave her a toy chimpanzee. It looked so real that people who visited her house were afraid of it, but she loved it. When Goodall was 23, she went to Africa. She began studying chimpanzees with a well-known scientist named Louis Leakey. After a year of working in Africa, Goodall went back to England and studied at the University of Cambridge. Can you guess what her favorite subject was? Chimpanzees. And there's a picture on page 113 of Jane Goodall. Let's turn to 114. After finishing school, Goodall returned to Africa and spent the next 45 years studying chimpanzees in the wild. Her discoveries during those years completely changed the way people think about primates. I'm going to pause here because I feel like it's important for us to write down that she studied in Africa for 45 years. She studied the behavior of chimpanzees, of primates, for 45 years. That's a long time to be dedicating your life to that. Before Goodall's work, we're on page 114 in the middle. Before Goodall's work, people thought chimpanzees were herbivores, eating plants. She discovered that they eat meat too. More importantly, Goodall discovered that chimps were quite intelligent. She observed them making and using tools. Before that, people thought humans were the only animals that made and used tools. I'm going to pause there because I think it's important that she discovered that they eat meat. And used tools. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to so that you can make sure you're writing down the important facts. When you hear the word tool, you may think of a hammer, saw, or shovel. Chimps don't use those kinds of tools. A tool is something used to help make a job easier. Tools can be very simple. A rock becomes a tool if you pick it up and use it to crack open a walnut. On page 115, we see Goodall studies chimpanzees, a type of mammal belonging to the primate group. And there's a picture of a chimpanzee. Goodall observed chimps using blades of grass as sticks and sticks as tools. Chimps like to eat termites, a type of insect that is like an ant. Termites live in holes underground. To catch these tasty insects, Goodall observed a chimp sticking a blade of grass into a termite hole. The termites crawled onto the grass. Then the chimp took the grass out of the hole and ate all the termites. Before Goodall wrote about this behavior, people did not realize how clever chimps and other primates are. I think we need to write something down here that chimps are quite intelligent. She discovered that they're quite intelligent. Goodall gave names to all the chimps in the group she was studying. She got to know them pretty well. Over time, she learned that chimps were smart animals. She learned that chimps express many of the same feelings as people. They can feel happy, sad, and mad. Chimps can also be mean. Goodall saw them attack and eat small monkeys, not out of a hunger, but because they didn't want them around. They were feeling grumpy. So I'm going to add to this that chimps can express feelings. She discovered that they can express their feelings just like humans do, really. And there on page 117, we see a chimpanzee using a plant stem as a tool. Let's turn to page 118. Goodall is more than a scientist. She is also an activist. An activist is someone who works hard to solve a problem and change something in the world. Goodall works as an animal rights activist to protect chimpanzees and their habitats. She tells others about human damage to habitats, such as hunting and pollution, and works to stop these problems. She loves working with young people and teaching them how to protect animals. She has written many books and has been the subject of books and movies. She has won many awards for her work in protecting chimpanzees. As of 2015, she was 81 years old and still working to spread the message that animals need to be protected. So just like it says on page 119 in the caption, I think it's important for us to write, she was or is an animal activist. And if you want to add something about, she's fighting to save their habitats where they live and to protect them. So those are the 4 most important things or ideas that we needed to write down from this chapter. Make sure you have everything on this page completed and submit your work, submit 13.1 on Schoology.